Hi, welcome to another Witch Doctors DIY Garage, where we show you how to do it yourself and save yourself some money. I'm going to talk to you guys today that like to do some customizing on your bike, some serious customizing. What we have is our Game Ender rear fender. This is for the cross bikes. It's a fiberglass fender. Now this isn't go over top of the stock one. This is an actual replacement fender. Okay, ours is by far, hands down, the best quality fender on the market. And I'm not saying that because we make it. It is. I've used all the different ones. This is hands down. Your body guy will love you. The gel coat finish on it is basically sand it and paint it. It's that good. What our fender incorporates is you can still use your stock tail light. That all still works. We have the recessed license plate light. It has the wings on the side. You guys that have passenger backrest, if you don't want that, you can just trim these out. You know, guys will notch this out a little bit so the brackets slide down in. So you can do that. It's easy. This is pretty heavy duty. It has all the markings on the side, the same as the stock fender does. And you can't really probably see it, but there's actually markings on here, little lines, to show you where to drill this out. Because you will have to just drill the holes in it yourself for the bolts. It has the center supports here with the humps for your wiring that comes back through, so that's all in there. And the other thing this fender incorporates is these wings or bag fillers go all the way to the front. We don't stop back here, so they go all the way to the front. So you guys, like I said earlier, you can cut them or grind them or do whatever if you don't want to have them for the backrest, so it works fine. The back here is made a little bit longer. For you guys that have the side-mounted exhaust, you want to have this down a little farther. If you don't want it because your exhaust comes out back here, you just cut them off. We made it a little longer for you. So you can do what you want with it. Real easy, just a hacksaw or a whizzer wheel. You know, cut that right off. You can cut it on an angle so it matches your stock bag, whatever you want to do. But this is our Game Ender fender. We'll show you how to put it on a bike. It's really pretty easy. I know you guys think it's a ton of work. It really isn't, just a few bolts. And I mean, there's probably, I'm guessing maybe 6 or 8, 10 bolts that come out that are real easy to do to change the fender. So we'll show you on the bike, but this is our Game Ender fender made out of fiberglass, and it is a replacement fender, not an overlay. So we'll go over to the bike and we'll show you what to do. So the first thing we're going to do, obviously, is take the saddlebags off. So most of you guys, I know how to do that. You just take your pin, turn your pin, the bag will come off. Now on this bike, we have the iPod connector in here, so be careful when you're doing this. Now I don't know why Victory couldn't give you 6 more inches of wire so you could reach this, but there's the little push connectors, and it's going to be hard. I can't get my hand in there because you won't see, but you just push this little tab right here. And you can disconnect these. Don't pull too hard because you will pull the wires apart. There you go. Like I said, I don't know why Victory just couldn't give you 6 more inches of wire there, but so that's how you take a saddlebag off. You can do the same thing on the other side. Now this side doesn't have the iPod connector, so just take it and lift those off. And the next thing we're going to do, we got to get the seat off. So your side panels here, you just pull those off, just pull straight off. And when you pull, there's a pin down in here. Don't pull real hard because you'll snap it and you'll bang it into the back of this and scratch up your paint. So you want to pull that off. Now, up in here, and it's a little bit hard to see, but up under here is a Allen bolt. It's a, try to get it here, right here. This Allen bolt, 6mm Allen, you need to take that out to get your seat out. And there's a bolt on the other side, it's the exact same thing, and that's all that holds your seat on. Now if you have a heated seat, you might have to watch for some wires. This bike does not have a heated seat, so now the seat's loose on this side. So we do the exact same thing on the other side. Pull your side panel off. Your seat bolt. Now when you pull your seat off, You'll see it's loose. You want to kind of, it won't come straight up in the back. It's not bolted on, but it's just hooked. So you just kind of lift the front and slide it forward, and it'll come off, okay? You have this catcher right here, which goes down in this notch in the frame, and that's what catches it. So you don't really have a bolt back there. So that's the first step to getting the rear fender off. So now that that stuff's off, what you want to do is you want to take your saddlebag mounting brackets off. You're going to need a 6mm Allen, because that's the bolt in here and the one bolt in the back. You're going to need a 13mm socket here, and then the fender bolts here are 10mm. So you need 3 different sizes to do that. Now when you take these off, there's nothing falls off or anything. It just unbolt them. And you want to kind of remember where the bolts went, so when you put stuff back together, you know, you're going to want to remember that the Allen bolts went here. So write them down, or take a picture with your cell phone or something so you know. And this is our 13mm up here. And just hold that bracket. Because once you take this bolt out, it'll fall off. Now the one thing you want to watch is on here you have these bushings, okay? These are like anti-rattle bushings for your backrest. So some of you guys may have these, you may not. Don't tip it over so these things fall off. Just kind of keep an eye out that you have those on there. So then we're going to take the 10mm and when we go back to put our fender on, you'll see these here, and that's what you just have to cut that hole out. You don't have to be super precise, you know, it's just, I'll show you kind of an easy way to do it, but it's something you're going to have to do. Okay, so we have this side's all loose, so now we go over to the other side and we do exactly the same thing. And you can see, no trick photography, I'm not that smart. You can see how easy this really is. You should be able to get your fender off in 10 minutes tops. One thing you have to kind of be careful on this is if you still have the factory antenna on the back here, you're going to have to disconnect that. Okay, you can see how the antenna is still hooked here. Actually, I'm not going to disconnect it. I'm just going to leave it here, but I'll show you on the back side of here. You pull this little rubber boot off. There's a nut. You just take that nut off and the wire will come off. But I'm not going to do it right now. I don't need to do that. I'm just going to let the bracket hang here. Take the 10mm bolts out for the fender. Okay, now that gets the fender loose. Everything's loose. You can lift the fender up. And then we'll move the camera here and we'll get around on the back side with a little better light so you can see what we're doing down through here on how to get the wiring off. Okay, so under here, and I'll get my flashlight, hopefully you can see this. You only have this one connector here. And what you do is you just lift up on this tab. Try to do that. Just lift up on that tab and pull and it'll come apart. Okay? Now, that is still hooked to the frame of the bike. It's just got like a push pin thing, so if you just kind of pull on it, it'll unhook. Okay, you kind of slide it off of there. It's kind of hard to see, but you can pull it off or just kind of slide it off. Once you get that disconnected, voila, your fender's off. Not hard at all, guys. You can do that yourself. What'd that take me? 5 minutes? So that is something that you can do yourself. So then just to give you a quick, this is the harness that we disconnected. That was what was plugged into the fender. So it's not that big a deal. This is the spot that that other plug was connected. So this was kind of like this here, just to give you an idea. So just to give you the idea, general idea of what we're doing, this is just going to go on kind of like that. Going to go on roughly like that. So now what we have to do is just drill the holes in the sides here and we can bolt it up. Then you're going to start tweaking stuff to line it up. So we'll come back and we'll show you how to drill those holes. If you notice on this fender, like I said in the introduction, you can see the spots here where the bolts and stuff go. If you look, and I'll just kind of put some dirt on there, it'll show you the lines where you have to cut. Now, they're not exact, okay, but they're really close. You see how that's real small? That's where the bolt goes. These ones are bigger. That's because that's where that bracket goes, so they need to be cut out bigger. So you can see, you know, exactly what you need to do. Again, a small one there. Like I say, I just take a little dirt just off my finger and it'll show you. There's a small one there. So what you need to do is we use a step drill bit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these or not. This looks like a Christmas tree, but you push it down in and each step is a different size, okay? You can get these at Lowe's, Harbor Freight, whatever. They're really handy even for other stuff than this. It's kind of one drill bit or a bunch of drill bits in one. So what we're going to do, we're just going to start, and you don't have to be real precise. You have to be pretty close, but you don't have to be exact. This one is the small hole for the bolt. So we just want to drill out roughly a 1/4 inch hole or so. So we just kind of pick the center. Now if you want to pre-drill a little tiny hole to get the center, you can. Doesn't matter. We're just going to drill it out. Okay, and we just went down roughly that size. We can do the other one. Okay, now I do drill them just a little bit bigger because that'll give you some slop, some adjustability, okay? Because they are handmade, so you have to get it, you know, you're going to have to tweak it just a little bit. But that's why I do that. I'll drill the last one here. Okay? The center ones, just do the same thing. Now this bit isn't big enough, so we'll come in with a grinder and finish it off. Okay, you can see we still have to grind her out some. Now the next thing I use, if you have a Dremel, you can probably do that. This is a little heavier dutier. This is just a carbide cutter. You can use a sander, you can use a drill bit and just chew away at it, whatever. This is what we have, so this works really well. But we're just going to follow that line around and grind that out. Now, you don't have to make that perfect because, like I say, all that is the bracket has to go through there. And I'll show you on the bike how you can do it, or what it's doing, but you don't have to make this stuff perfect. Just get it really close. Okay, so we have the holes for the bracket done and the holes for the fender bolt. So we'll go and we'll show you here. We'll put it on the bike. I already did the other side, so that's why I already did that side. It's already done. So we're just going to put this on the bike. Make sure you get all your wires where they need to go. Everything's out of the way. You can see how this fits right in that little channel here. Make sure you get that right. Just get it on approximately where it's going to go. Now, if you look on this side, I'll show you what we're doing. Just kind of line everything up. You can see the holes where they go. You want to put your fender ones in first. Now, if for instance that hole was off a little bit, you can grind her out a little bit if you need. You're probably going to need a washer on these, okay? But for right now, we're just fitting it up to get it close. And we don't tighten them up, just put them on there. That's just kind of lining stuff up right now. We want to put our bracket on. Get my wrench. And again, just make sure that the bracket goes through there. That's all you need is clearance. It doesn't do anything for holding the fender on. It's just a clearance hole. So make sure you have that. Okay? So that way, we know everything is lined up on this side. Okay, we can still tweak it a little bit if we have to line something up here. But that's on that side. Now we'll go on the other side and we'll just kind of do the same thing. We'll see how close everything is. And the one thing, just always make sure your wires don't get pinched, because if they do, you're going to try lining stuff up and you're going to be wondering, why isn't it working? Well, it's because you have something pinched. So now we can see this bolt hole, pretty much exact. That'll go right in there. This is pretty close. I'd say this one may need trimmed out just a little bit right here. So we'll get our bracket on here. Take off these plastic things. Just get one bolt to start holding stuff out of the way for you. Okay, so we're good there. Have space around here. If you look, there's plenty of space in here. You know, we did a good job grinding that. Now this one up here looks like we need to grind just a little bit more. And we're going to check this one back here. This fuzzy stuff out of here so we can see the better. And that one lines up perfect. So the only one we need to work on just a little bit is this front one. It's just a little bit out of whack. Make sure I can't, because sometimes you can pull this where you need. But no, it's just a little bit, I drilled it a little bit crooked. So we're going to just, real simple, just take your bracket back off. And if you can't remember which way you have to go or whatever, just make a mark. Set that there. Back to our grinder, and you can kind of see, you can see how we're about a half a hole off there. So now you can see it lines up perfect. Goes right in. So you can see, just to line it up isn't that big a deal. These fenders are, as I said, high quality fenders. They're really good. You know, you're gonna have to tweak them a little bit. I mean, it's custom bike building. You're gonna have to tweak a little bit. Okay, snug these up. Okay, just snug them up. We'll snug up the other side. And again, if you need a washer on those bolts, you can put one on. The fender's actually pretty thick. It's a very strong fender, so you don't necessarily have to worry about cracking the fiberglass. You know, I mean, don't go overboard and try to rip the bolt out of the frame bit and it's so tight, but you really don't need one. It'll be tight enough for you. So what we're doing this step for is this is just going to tell us where stuff lines up. You know, you may want to trim this off a little bit depending on where your bag sits because they are different. You know, and again, you may want to trim this for your bracket to go in through there. I can show you real quick. I have a bracket here. All you'd have to do would be just kind of line this up like right where you want it and then mark out, you know, this little bit right in through here and just start trimming. If you use that grinder like we used on the fender, you can just start grinding away and just keep putting it in and out until you get enough clearance. You know, you don't want to go too far because then you'll defeat the purpose of the filler. You'll have a huge gap. So you just kind of put that in there and grind how you want. It's that easy to do. So now the fender's on there solid. We'll pop the seat on to make sure everything's good there. And the seat goes on the exact same way. You have that notch down in here. You're just going to put this tab here in this notch. Pop the seat on. So you can see how this filler comes all the way up. We don't just chop it off back here. We make the thing look complete by going all the way up. It's going to just dress up this area so much better. It makes it that much more professional looking. I'll grab the saddlebag and we'll kind of pop that on. Now hopefully you see this isn't that hard of a job. We'll make a custom bike builder out of you guys yet. So you're just going to, you know, put your saddlebag on. That's probably the hardest part of this whole job is putting the saddlebags back on.
clips that Victory has. Clips moved. There we go. Okay. So you put that on, and you can see kind of how it lines up. It fills in this gap real nice. Everything still works the same. So what this is down here, again, this kind of shows you if you want to do some other work. You want to put a bag extension on, which most guys do. You put a bag extension on, you do the work back in here. A lot of guys add a flat plate here. I'll show you, we have something similar. This isn't exactly for this bike, but you get the idea. This kind of goes like that. This would be for a bike that doesn't have the exhaust out the back. It would have the side, or you can bring your exhaust and make a turn down right here. But that kind of goes on like that to give you that look across the back. And again, you can cut this off. You know, if you want this angle, you just cut this off right here, you know. So it's however you want to do it. That's why in the introduction I said these are made a little longer. They're made for that if you want to put a bag extension on. If you don't, you can just cut this right across here and you'll have that whole fender. So that's basically how you put on the Game Ender fender. It's that easy. I don't think we have very much time in it at all. The one other thing up here, you'll notice, and I'll do this again, put some dirt on it. We actually provide you the markings so you can cut this out so your taillight wiring goes right through there. The one thing you do have to do on your taillight, however, if you see these little bumps in here, that's on your taillight. You have to kind of grind those down just a little bit. It's a pretty tight fit right here. So you have to grind your taillight, the back side of it, just a tiny bit. You know, it's nothing you'll see, nothing that hurts anything, but you just have to grind that. Taillight will pop right in. License plate, same thing. We left you a hole right here. Drill that hole for your wiring. You need to put a custom frame or whatever you're doing up here. A lot of guys get the frames we sell that have the turn signals built into them. You know, because obviously you're getting rid of the stock turn signals, but they put a frame with lighting in there. We offer the paint on the website, so you guys, if you take it to the body shop, a lot of body shops are gonna hesitate because they're like, they don't know where to get the paint, they don't know how to do this. We offer the paint on the website. So you can buy the paint for your bike, take it to the body shop, or if you have a buddy that paints, we offer all that. You want to get everything fit up good. Do all your grinding, your cutting, whatever you need to do. Get all that fit up first. Then, once you're done and you've mocked this up 2 or 3 or 4 times to get everything right, do your body work, put the license plate in, make sure you drill your holes, do everything. Once that's done, then you go and get it painted. Like I say, we offer all the colors, so we can give you advice on painting. We paint here. We don't offer these painted just for that reason, because you do have to fit them up. But that'll help you with the body shop. And when a body shop sees this quality, they're going to love it because it's very easy. It's a quick sand. You may be able to do that yourself, save yourself some more money. Just take it to them and they can paint it. If you give them the paint, the materials, and a part that's ready to go, they'll be much more apt to do it for you, and at a lower cost, because we built the quality into here so it doesn't cost you on the long run. We do it up front to make it right. So that's how you do a Game Ender fender. If you have any questions, shoot us an email at witchdoctors.com. You can find this fender on there, and again, you can also find some of these other parts. And keep watching, because we're constantly coming up with new parts to make the back ends of these cool. So thanks for watching, and go try this. It's not that hard.